Um, Happy New Year. Thank you guys for joining me. So early into the new year, as we recover from our winter breaks, or as we embrace 2024. My name is Beth Poss. I am the Director of Educational Programs with LessonPix, and I am here today as part one of a three-part series on resources that you can, resources with LessonPix that you can use. And today we're going to focus on communication on that AAC side of things. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a slide deck. I posted that in the chat. I can post it. We can post it again if we need to. I'm not really going to be sticking with the slides deck. I'll be going in and out of the slide deck and the in and out of the slide deck and the and LessonPix itself. And for everybody that sticks around by the end, will have a free link. This will be for the people that are live. I'm going to post it in the chat, but a link for a free 2-month trial with LessonPix, and then an exciting opportunity to be a beta tester for a new tool within LessonPix that we hope some of you will decide to do. So let's get right in and talk about, LessonPix is a web-based tool for creating typically paper-based resources, including AAC supports. Let me make sure I can see the chat and everything. Awesome. Yeah, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. And so, if we're talking about communication, let's definitely talk about the types of AAC supports that you might be able to create in LessonPix. So I've got a few things up on the screen right now, including what a lot of people might be familiar with, which is just a simple core communication board. It's color-coded and gives you kind of an idea of what our symbol set looks like and ways that you might use it for communication. If in the slide deck, most of these, I think everything except that fringe board is linked as a resource. And for example, this is actually a free resource. I'll click on a couple of these in just a minute. So this is just your standard paper-based direct selection resource that you might use for someone who you do not yet have a robust system for. And it can be paired really nicely with fringe communication boards, so that you're not just simply restricting students or learners, communicators to a smaller set of vocabulary. We know we want to be able to provide individuals with access to all the language. And so being able to pair a core board with a fringe board is one way to do that. Not every individual is a direct selector, and we have a really fantastic template that is our eye gaze template, and I am going to click on that. And this is also a free resource in there, so anybody, whether you're a LessonPix user or not, LessonPix subscriber or not, you can have access to this free sample. And I'm going to download it just so you can get an idea of what it actually is going to look like when you print it, because there's a really cool feature to our eye gaze board. And this one is set up with the 36 location, so this is a 2-step eye gaze, right, system, where you're going to first look to the section that has the word in it that you were looking for. So if you wanted to say I, it's in this top corner here. And so you'd look at that, but then to indicate what color, right, because each cell in there, then you would also still look at that, because that's the yellow, right? If I was looking for the U, then I'd look at this blue here. So it's that 2-step sort of situation. But what I'm going to show you is, this is what it looks like. Everything that you create in LessonPix can be downloaded as a PDF. It can also be downloaded as a PowerPoint. We won't really talk about that today, but everything can be downloaded as a PDF. So it's an easy access format that anybody, right? You can send that to anyone. Anyone can be able to print that. And when you print this, right, this is what you're going to see. You've got your 36 core vocabulary words there. You've got a yes and a no and a cutout area, so that when you're looking at it, it doesn't always show up well when I've got a virtual background on, but I kind of have one here, right? Whoops, if you can see it, there's the part where you cut out. But the really cool thing about this template is that when you create it, it's going to give you 2 pages. So pretend this is what your communication partner is going to see, the person that is using the AAC. is going to see. And then you, as the communication partner, you're going to notice this is a mirror image. Look and see how like the no and the yes are opposite, because when you put it together as 2 pages back to back, you want to know what they're looking at, that if they're looking over here at the no, I can see that on my side as the no also. So it's a really cool feature of this template, that when it's printed, it's going to give you the front and then the back as a mirror image, right? You don't want 2 of the same, because that's not really going to work. That's not going to work for you to know what that individual is looking at. So that's using our eye gaze board template. And it's really, really easy and simple. I'm going to go back to the slide deck just to click on the link for this. This is our just free sample core board. So just a really simple 50-word core board. Now, you can use this one and that eye gaze board for free. You can distribute it to whomever you would like. But if there was things that you wanted to change in this, you would have to have a LessonPix subscription in order to customize something for a particular client that you wanted. But another way that we, I kind of talked about, we've got our core boards here, we've got some fringe, but even though core and fringe are really important, there might be times that for a particular, maybe you're reading the book Sneezy the Snowman. It's a great winter book, a perfect book for January as you're talking about snow and snowmen and winter weather. And maybe you just want some vocabulary from that book to help students, whether they are AAC users or simply individuals with who are multilingual learners, individuals who may be learning English or who may be using more than one language and may not have all that vocabulary. So something like a simple topic-based board that you can use for conversation. And again, this one isn't free. This is not a free download, but the other ones are. So something in there. So again, if you're a LessonPix subscriber, you'll have access to that. So very easy. And I do want to show you how quickly and easily you can create any communication board. And so let's just go into LessonPix. The heart of LessonPix is the tray, right? We have a extensive clip art library, and I'm going to go ahead and click on our clip art library tab at the top of LessonPix right here. It takes you into all of our vocabulary. We've got over 70,000 images in our library, and those images are organized categorically in an alphabetical order. So if you're looking for vocabulary, that's a great way to be able to find it. You can also simply click on our drop-down menu for images and search for any image that you might be looking for. So, if you were looking for the word want, I could simply type that in there and it will take me right in where I can make sure that I'm logged in, where it's going to give me all of the different versions of want that we have. And one question that I often get is people say, well, what if their high-tech communication system is using picture communication symbols, or maybe it's using symbol sticks communication symbols. Notice the symbols for want and think about what you might see on somebody else's communication device. There's only so many ways that you're going to convey that idea. So there's a lot of transparency, right? When we think about the ways that we might create a symbol to convey something, you're going to see a lot of similarity between different symbol sets because of how we think about the word want. You'll also notice that we do have some high contrast symbols in LessonPix, and I'm going to show you in just a minute how you can actually make any image in LessonPix a high contrast image, right? So there's more than, you can have more than just the symbols that we have set up in there. But I'm going to go ahead and just put the image for want in there, and maybe I'm just going to go ahead and put, let's search for just a couple more pictures. So maybe I will put the image for go, and let's go ahead and get a nice picture for go. And let's just get some maybe we're doing something with transportation. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's get a picture of a car. And we're just going to really quickly show how easy it is to create a communication board. So I could pick whatever image of a car, and you're going to see we've got lots and lots and lots of options. So something that might seem a bit appropriate for somebody a little bit younger, but also things that might be appropriate for somebody older, or for somebody who's going to have a particular perception of what the car in their world might look like. But let's just go ahead and get like an airplane, and we'll kind of stop there just for demo purposes. So let's go ahead and get a nice picture of an airplane. And you know what? Let's go ahead and we'll just grab that picture. All right. So I've got some pictures in my tray. Once I have all the pictures in my tray that I want to use, I'm simply going to go and click on that Create Materials button. This takes us into all of our different template types or material types. And we've got over 1,000 different templates. They're organized under visuals, communication devices. And since we're talking about communication, I'll probably pick something from in there: fine motor and writing, learning games, early literacy, and early math and science. But if I wanted to create, for example, a simple, actually going to go, I'm just going to use I'm going to go back up and just use one of our most basic templates, was just our picture cards template. So I'm going to just kind of grab that. I'm going to click next. I've got my text in there, but if I wanted to change it, like I don't want the word jet, I want it to be airplane, right? I can, whoops, let's spell airplane right. I can simply go in there and change it. Or if I needed to translate that into another language, because perhaps I'm creating a resource for an individual whose language in the home is not English, I can easily translate that. Now, it is going to translate it from English to that language. It uses Google Translate. So the same way when you translate something in Google Translate, it's going to translate it from one language to another. It's going to do that. It is not going to keep the English there. So if I actually wanted that English, what I usually do is something like this, right? I know the English. I don't know the and I don't know, this is using Google Translate. I am not a Spanish speaker, unfortunately. And so if that is not, it's going to use what it's going to be as good as or as bad as Google Translate. So if that's not the translation that you are looking for, just be aware it's using the technology of Google Translate, right? So I can have car, and then I can have air. So often I'll do that. I'll put both in there. I'm going to go ahead and click next. And this is going to give me, this particular template is going to give me some different choices. Do I just want everything to fit on one page? Do I want the cards, the images, the cells to be a specific size? And I can change it to whatever is going to work. And I can use inches or centimeters or millimeters. Or do I want a particular grid layout? I'm just going to leave it if I just wanted for cards to be able to, for images on that page. I'm going to title this Go Board. This would really not be anything I would probably use, except perhaps, you know, at a very beginning level to introduce something. But for our purposes, it'll be fine for today. I've got different parameters I can set, including the spacing or the size of the border, depending on that individual's vision and motor needs. I can also use our grid layout to, if I needed to, if I was like, oh, you know what, I want to put Go there, right? If I want to rearrange the order of that, I can easily do that. And I can also change the background. So if I wanted to do like a modified Fitzgerald key and change the background of that to make those green because they're verbs, I could certainly go in and do that. And once it's ready, I can go and save that layout, and I can click finish. And it's as easy as that to be able to create that resource and have it ready to be able to download as a PDF. So super easy. Simple, fast to be able to make resources. But let's go back for just a minute to that core board that we've got right here, because maybe this core board is almost exactly what I needed. Or actually, let's go over here. Whoops. Let's go back to that. I'm going to go back to our little Sneezy the snowman there. I'm going to clear what's in my tray. And maybe that's almost exactly what I wanted, but I wish there was like also like turn the page and read. Maybe this is just a vocabulary from, but maybe I want some more. Well, I don't necessarily want to go in and have to take the time to recreate this. So what I can actually do is I can simply go and I can see all of the images that were used to create this. I can click load all. It's going to put all of those images in my tray. If there was something I wanted to get rid of, I could simply delete it. Or if I just wanted to add like read, let's go ahead and click read, get read in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add read and turn the page. Maybe I want to have some verbs to create some interactivity for this. And let's find, oh, that's a good one. We'll look at, maybe I want that one. Like, that's a good one to indicate turn the page. So now I've got 17 pictures in there, and let's get one more. I'm going to add stop. I always like to give students an out, right? So create a story or directions for a menu, the exact same way, Madeline. So if anything that I want to create, I'm going to add images to my tray, and it simply depends on the template that I choose, right? So I've got those images in my tray, I hit create materials, and like if I wanted to create a story, I go to books and stories, and that might be the perfect template. Or if I wanted to create a visual schedule of sorts, I might go to one of our picture templates, or we actually have a menu template. So I'm going to search. This is a search bar on the top, and it takes you to different templates that we have. So I could have that menu template, right? So very easy to be able, I create everything the same way. I start off by putting the images in my tray. And I know that's a little bit of a change for people that are used to BoardMaker, where you lay out what you want, right? You lay out your template, you lay out the cells in your template, and then you pull images into this. With LessonPix, you choose your images, and then you put them in your tray, and then you choose the template that you wanted. So if I wanted, again, to do those picture cards, let's go back to those picture cards. I'm just going to choose that, right? And I could click next. If I needed to see the grid layout, I could see exactly what it's going to look like. It's going to give me some blank cells if I use that. So I think instead I've got 18. So somebody do the math for me to make this work out, right? I probably maybe would want to have 20 pictures in there. It would give me a nice layout. But if I wanted to do the math, again, I could change that if I wanted it to have, I could have two columns, and this definitely would not be what I would do, but I could have 2 columns of 9 pictures each, and that would give me 18, right? You could see that. Not really what I would probably want, but you guys get the idea. I'd be able to fit all those cards on one page and click finish, and I'd have my resource. But if I'd wanted to do that for something different, right? We talked about, I'm just going to click done. Going to discard that. I'm not going to keep it. If I wanted to make that something else, maybe I'm going to retell the story of Sneezy Snowman. I would just go through, and it would give me a book. It would give me a book with 1 picture per page. So super easy to be able to take something that's already created and reuse it to customize it. I don't want to leave out our sharing center. In our sharing center, we have thousands and thousands of already created resources, because we know that nobody has enough time to make all the things that they need from scratch. So, and quite literally, when I say thousands, I mean thousands and thousands. I think at last count, there was over 80,000 resources in the sharing center. And these are resources that have been created by LessonPix subscribers for other LessonPix subscribers to be able to use. The default for any resource that you create is that it's private, so you have to actively add it to our sharing center. Super easy to do that. But luckily, lots of people do. And so we've got loads and loads of wonderful resources. And if you specifically were looking for communication boards, you could click under to sort, you could click under our types of materials. And if I wanted to find, for example, eye gaze boards, eye gaze frames, it would pull up different eye gaze frames that have been created for me to be able to use. If I'm a LessonPix subscriber, I can get any of these and be able to use them. If I'm not a LessonPix subscriber, only ones that come up with that free sample on them are available to download. Now, actually, you could download this as not a LessonPix subscriber, but it would have a great big watermark across it. I am going to flip it back. I've got 9 minutes left, and so I'm going to flip back to my slide deck really quickly because I want to show you some additional resources. In the Sharing Center, we have actually a fabulous, ready-to-go, multi-page resource that was designed in conjunction with Dr. Karen Erickson and Dr. Caroline Musselwhite to go along with the Retopia curriculum, although it's wonderful for for anybody, whether you're using that curriculum or not. And this is a completely free read. So it's got a 36 core board location core board as its background, and then 29 different fringe vocabulary pages with all these different categories that you can kind of see. So like colors and comments and community workers and family, and that's a flipbook style, and that's free. That's free for anybody, and you are welcome to share that widely with anybody that you would like to have it. I do want to give you guys a sneak peek of something really special that's coming, and ask for anybody who is interested in beta testing this. This is a brand new tool that we're creating within LessonPix, and we need beta testers to give us feedback. And it's our grid builder tool. It's going to allow you to create multi-page books. So the book that I showed you that you can download, the communication set of communication boards, not the storybook style. You have to create each board for that separately. With our new grid builder, it will allow you to have multiple pages that you create and work on. You can have multiple size cells on a grid. You can duplicate previous pages that you've created. And if you're interested in beta testing it, and I'm going to demo for you just a second, email me at beth@lessonpix.com and we'll get you guys set up with a demo. But I want to go in and go into our grid builder beta, which if you're a LessonPix subscriber right now, you're not going to see that. It's only turned on for people that are beta testing it, which is fine. So I'm going to go in here with something that I was actually working on. So this is, you can tell it's not finished because I got some blank cells in there. But this is a core board, and I want to have pages that go along with it where I'm using, here we go, let's go to that core section of it. Okay, so this is the core section of it, and I want to have pages that go with it that have the same core layout, but for different categories, right? So I did one for transportation, right? So you can see here I've got some additional verbs that go with transportation, and then of course, other vocabulary, fringe vocabulary that goes with it. But let me give you a little taste of what this is like. So here I've got this core board, and I can add things to it. Like if I wanted to search for, I'm just gonna type in the word run. So I'm gonna search, and it's gonna search our vocabulary, our images. And if I wanted to add the word run to it, I could simply click and drag and put that in. So a little different than when we were making things before, where I added it to my tray and I went to that template, right? I can set up this with as many, like I set this up, this page was already set up, and I don't want that word run, so I'm actually going to drag it out to my scratch pad and get rid of it. I could have set this up with more cells or different cells. I can make my cells different sizes. So if I wanted that to be bigger, right, I could easily do that. So it makes it really easy for me to design resources. And if I want to duplicate this page, so I'm going to duplicate this page, and it's going to give me a copy of that core, but maybe what I want this one to be is to be my copy of core, which is what I'm on. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to change the name of that. I'm going to go into page settings and just change the name of that. And it is going to be, maybe I want this to be my feelings. So core plus feelings. So I'm going to update that. And you can see I can change this is an 8x11, but if I needed to change the number of cells in it, I can easily do that. And now I could add, so I'm going to go ahead and browse, and I'm going to go find feelings words. This is browsing the LessonPix library. So there I've got my feelings words, and I can easily, it's going to give it a second to populate that up. Give it a second. It's in beta. So if it doesn't populate that up, then we'll know that that's something I need to give feedback on. All right, we're going to go here and we'll just search for feelings and let's see if we get. If I have things in my tray, which I do, I have some things in my tray, anything that's in my tray, I can get to and grab, right? I can pull it in, or I can search for anything. So if we go into our feelings, right? So this might be, we remember we're in beta form. So the fact that it's not coming up, that's something I'm gonna make sure that I give. So let's just go for like happy right now. That's why it's in beta form and not released to everybody, because not everything is working perfectly yet. So, right, I might have my happy and I can pull that in and I can continue adding to it, right? And then when I go to print all of this, it's going to, if I hit create material, it's going to take it in to be able to have it printed. So this is brand new. As you can see, it still has some kinks to work out. If you are interested in getting your hands on so that you can create multi-page customized boards where you can have a template that you're starting with and then duplicating that, or you just want to connect everything. I'm sure you guys have got your brains are churning with ways that you might use it. Please reach out to me. We are actively looking for testers who will give us feedback on what's working, what's not working, what you think should be in there, what's hard, what's easy, all of that. So please reach out to me and let me know. I have like 3 minutes left, so I am going to pop back in here. I promised I would show you guys our high contrast symbol. And so let me go back in here and I'm going to go into our clip art and I'm just going to go into some clothing because it's cold. And let's go find a hat. And let's go ahead and find like a nice baseball cap. So maybe I want this baseball cap, but I want it to be high contrast. If I click the plus sign, it's going to add that to my tray, right? But if I click right on the image, it's going to take us into our recolor and customize section. Now, there's a lot of things I can do with this tool, the recolor and customize, that I'm not going to talk about today. I can change the color if I needed this to be a purple hat instead of a red hat. Or if I had a person in the picture and I wanted to change the skin tone, I could change the skin tone. We're just going to make it high contrast right now. So to do that, all I'm going to do is where it says high contrast filters, go to add filters. It's going to brighten that up. It's going to take out, if there were different shades of red and blue in that, it's going to even them out. It's going to put a thicker black outline around it so that it's got that outline to highlight the important characteristics, right? Like the important characteristic of a baseball hat is that brim to it. And then if I needed to have a background color, I could have black. I could actually have any color of these. We'll just update it with a black background. And then I have that as a custom symbol. So if I needed for my, I was creating a resource for it to be high contrast, it would be available. And actually, if I go back into those hats, which is where I came from, right? I'm gonna see it in my custom symbol set. So it's gonna be right there. So super easy to be able to create high contrast symbols. We have some standard symbols that are high contrast, but take any of our images and make them high contrast. With the 2 minutes that I have left, I just want to reiterate, it's not just about, oops, I'm not even in my slideshow, but that's okay. It's not just about creating communication boards, it's also about creating resources that you can use to practice language and communication skills. So whether it's fun board games, the jacket I wear in the snow is one of my favorite, or we have all of the images in our symbol set from LAMP Unity. So we have a wonderful collaborative relationship with Cranky Roma Corporation, and we have all of those LAMP Unity images. So I just wanted to show you a resource that's got that. This one is a free sample, and so for you to know that you can use those LAMP images. There is a little setting that you have to do in LessonPix to turn that on. So when you go to your LessonPix tab, and you edit your profile, if I want those LessonPix, those Unity images to come up, I just have to set it to show them. And now if I searched for the word go, for example, so remember what we searched for before. If I search for the word go now, I'm going to get, in addition to our LessonPix images, I'm going to get all of those Unity images that represent go, right? There's multiple ways, representations for that. One last thing, and then and then I'm gonna wrap up. If you've got any questions, please contact, you can contact me directly, or you can contact us at support@lessonpix.com. Single licenses are only $36 a year. So an individual license for one person is $36 a year, super affordable. And then we have group licensing options as well. So when you get up to 10 licenses in a group, you get a 10% discount. When you hit 25 licenses in a group, you get a 15% discount. And when you hit 100+ licenses, you get a 20% discount. I'm available for any questions, but I know it is 12:31, and I don't want to monopolize anybody else's time for our quick little spotlight. Thanks, Kim.